Hey, what's going on, YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe here, Nile Scala, with the man, the myth, a legend. Oh, wait, it can be. It truly is. Frank Amazing tonight. Frank, how we doing, brother?
Good. How are you, Nile?
I'm not doing too bad. As you can see, Billy had to visit the newest addition to the family, his godson. So tonight the whole family's going out to visit everyone and get a chance to see the little guy. I know Billy's kids haven't had a chance to do that yet, so that's what they're doing tonight. And unfortunately, that's why he's not here to join us. But more importantly, we've got Frank Amazing in the house.
Yes. Returned after the first time interviewing. Guess it went well.
I guess so. Just sitting there meddling in your dungeon.
Better than Blevins. Haha.
The Blevins. Oh, man, don't let him hear that. Don't let him hear that. But Frank, man, how's your day been, buddy?
Doing really well. As always, start my morning going on Twitter and, Kickstarter and Indiegogo, see what's going on. Do a little shout out, help out those creators that we have, and anything that we can do for them, especially with our fan base. So,
hey man, that's you keep the behind the scenes action. Frank Amazing keeps everything moving. The gears of the clock that is crowdfunding comics. And I mean, what a crazy past few days, huh, Frank? I mean, you got freaking, Dan Didio leaving DC. Who knows what's going on there? The whole 5G thing, rumors of AT&T possibly, giving this, if this fails, that's it. The comic book end of it's gone. That's a rumor. And then, of course, the CEO for Disney is backing down, but that's not new news. No. It just happened. I think the timing just kind of fell in. So people are seeing this like, oh, what's going on in the industries? What's happening?
Yeah.
Well, some is planned and some wasn't.
Well, I mean, especially for Disney, I mean, I think for, people in our age, they've seen, not that many CEOs, during that time frame, so they've been around for a while. And, for someone who literally changed what Disney does, to leave at, the beginning point is, a question.
Yeah. But it's a time for a new era, he said. And, he planned this, that he was going to be taken off once that contract was up. But, someone we have that we hope doesn't take off, that is going to be around for a long time. We've got a returning guest, an amazing creator who's been, doing the independent thing for a while. Mount Olympus Comics, the man, the myth, the legend, the keeper of the gates, Mr. Ron Zabala. Welcome, Ron.
Oh, whoa, what an intro. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. How you doing?
You're on.
Thanks for having me back. Doing great. Doing great. The Kickstarter is going insane.
Yeah.
Compared to my previous Valkyrie Saviors, the previous Valkyrie Saviors ended at 27,000. That was Valkyrie Saviors 2, and Valkyrie Saviors 1 was 25,000. So this is really just fantastic that we just passed 43,000 today.
Yeah.
And it's really just wonderful what the fans are with this Kickstarter, just supporting and jumping in. And it's been a big surprise because I tried a lot of experimental stuff in this Kickstarter, and thankfully it worked. People like it. I've gotten mostly positive feedback. So
it's very good. I mean, now what does this make? How many Kickstarters have you done?
This is number 10. This is the 10th. I did do one follow-up. Hey, Lee, I did do one follow-up. Hey, Wendy, Patriotica, but it was just like a short time on Indiegogo, just to try it out, just to see how that one is. And, it was something just to get a feel for it. And it was a learning experience. I kind of like what Billy did, where he had two running at the same time. It's actually something I might try out for Patriotica 2, United number 2, just to see, how that goes. But he said it was pretty hard to do. I can imagine running 2 campaigns.
Yeah, he recommends not doing it.
I'm that guy that does the crazy stuff, because let me tell you, what I did on this Kickstarter, it was originally even more complex, but I did what's called something different. Originally I planned it to sync it. How sometimes Kickstarter has that make 100 thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I was going to try to roll it out with that make 100, and unfortunately, it just didn't happen. I stuff happened. There was a lot of medical stuff going on. And so I was like, okay, I got pushed back. And I was like, you know what? I'm still going to try it out. So it was called Evolving Tiers. It is called Evolving Tiers. It's still on the campaign. And it's 3 tiers in the campaign. So there's all the usual tiers like I usually do on my previous Kickstarters. But I took 3 tiers and did something different with them just to make things more interesting, more exciting, I thought, or I think. And the Evolving Tiers, they are tiers that change over time. They kind of work like early bird. They're only there for a limited amount of time. You got to jump in and get them or you miss out on it. But then they evolve. So the tier comes back, but different. It's a little more expensive, but it's got something else in it. And each time there's a surprise element. So each time the tier leaves, then I announce this is what you got if you stayed in that tier. So, people can decide, oh, I want to stay. I like that prize. Or I want to, try the next tier, try the next level up of this tier and see what the next prize is. So it's kind of just, something fun for people to try to do. And, I finished already. It went through its whole evolution. I kind of mistimed it. I wanted it to end when the campaign ended, but it ended a week early. A week early. And when I realized that was happening, I was like, you know what, just let it up. I'll still go with it. And I had another fun idea that I wanted to try anyways. And it actually synced up pretty well, which is what I'm calling Iris Attacks, which is what I've got going on this whole week. The super villain of the comic, she's basically come in and taken over a bunch of covers, and she's been like on the cover of everything. And like every day I announce, now she's on the cover of this. So it's available for add-on. So just things to keep the campaign exciting for people to come back, see what's going on, and talk about it. But it gave me a lot of work, the Evolving Tiers, having the different prizes, syncing it up, explaining it to people. And at one point, I even had to post that image of that guy that's got the chart with the strings. This is Evolving Tiers. It's simple. Yeah. It really isn't simple, especially on the back end. But it's been fun, and it was a lot of work. But I think seeing the results, I think that's part of the reason it's doing so well is I gave something exciting and fun for people to do during the campaign. And also, another big thing I tried for the first time is mostly unpublished or artists that aren't highly published. I've got 2 pretty big name artists, or 2 or 3, but I would say about 90% of them are artists that have only done a couple of things for me, or very few publishers, or not at all, like first time published.
Oh, wow.
So, and in the past, I've always tried to use, the more well-known guys or, stuff like that. But this time I thought, there's all these wonderful artists. Let me try them out. I think the art looked fantastic. So I was like, it was a gamble. Again, it's all part of the risk. I figured, let's risk everything at once, see how it goes. I already planned on, next time I'll play it safe, but this time I wanted to try something fun and different and see how it went. And again, this is all going very well. People liked all the new artists. Again, it gave something for people to talk about. Be like, oh, this guy, what is this? Oh, where do you come from? What's that? So
it's doing. Your campaigns are good. You have $43,100. You're 4 away from 600 backers.
Yes. Damn. Wow. Yes. So that's it's working. It's working. People like that. People like it. They're just doing something different as opposed to the usual artists, which it's great to use the usual artists. But I thought, what will happen if it's all new artists, almost all new artists, Yeah, I found like a couple of big names like Carla Cohen and Kale New. They're probably the 2 biggest names on the campaign. And then the guy who did my top tier, I don't think he's done comics outside of mine. I could be wrong. There might be. I know he's done art books and stuff. But Q, I can't pronounce his name. I don't want to butcher it. But he did the top tier of my campaign. And aside from the 3 of them, everyone else in the campaign is mostly just artists that they might have a big fan base, but they haven't done comic book covers in the past.
Now, how did you go about the idea of, I want to give some other, maybe some other unpublished artists the opportunity? How did you go about that? Was it word of mouth of hearing about someone, or did you kind of advertise it?
No. I in the past I tried the advertising thing, but you just get so many artists, and it's so hard because going through all of them, and then you feel like you missed one. And that's the worst, is when I think I did something like that for a campaign once, and then going back and looking through all the artists, I was like, oh, I missed this one, I missed that one. Yeah, it's just better. And it was just a big mess having so many people messaging me and being like, oh, check out my art. And I'm like, oh, I can only, there's only so much. You'd be surprised. You get a lot of messages. If you put it out there, hey, I'm looking for something. I'm looking for someone to do something for me. You'll get a tremendous amount of messages, and from all ranges. Regardless if you say I need someone professional that's done comic covers before, you'll still get every single person on the face of the earth that's interested in doing a comic cover reaching out to you, which is great, but then it's also just gives you that much more people to go through and makes it that much more difficult to find people that you will actually be able to use for your cover. So for me, what I did is, I it's kind of a hobby. I like going through all my various sites that I use, art sites, all the different art sites, all the social media, everything that where artists are involved, and just scrolling through, looking through Facebook, everything, anything I can. I've got friends that recommend artists, and when I see people sharing artists, I look at them and talk to them, and just I'll spend about an hour a day. I'll spend at least just looking for new artists to work with and messaging them and talking to them and seeing who's interested, but artists that I think are going to work out for me, artists that I think will be exciting or fun or different.
Yeah. Hey, so, Mandy's in the house. Mandy Summers, welcome.
Means we don't have to work.
Yeah, she's got the chat now under control, Frank. You don't have to worry about it. So let's get into a minute now. So for anyone out there that's watching this for the first time, who's ever seen you on a show for the first time, your Kickstarter is Valkyrie Saviors 3. So you're obviously you're on issue 3, but tell us 1 and 2, like what is this about?
Okay, so Valkyrie Saviors, the pitch for Valkyrie Saviors I do at shows and stuff is just a real simple short one is college students by day, giant Valkyrie warriors by night. Anime inspired, and it's humor and action and a little bit of drama. So it's more of a fun comic. If you like anime, you'll definitely recognize some of the themes, and I think you'll enjoy it too. Initial plan was to go with an anime style artist, which is really hard to find. It wasn't until Oz that I was finally able to find an interior artist that I could work with whose style I liked for an anime style, because Oz actually does have an anime or manga interior style. And I wanted that for Valkyrie. It just didn't happen. And so I went with someone that was kind of like a hybrid, who was Gian. For now, for my first 2 issues, and in this issue, I've got Donnie, whose last name I don't want to butcher, Donnie H. And he's doing a wonderful job. Really beautiful characters with fantastic action. And so what I wanted to do was bring more manga style art to the comics, to Western comics, and still use a Western style, but reading it from left to right as opposed to from right to left, and bringing it to people at conventions and shows and stuff. So I know people have done that before, but that's just something I wanted to do with my own stories and such.
Thank you, S. Judas. We're glad that you've joined the channel. Ron is very informative.
I try.
He tries. He's got a big script in front of him. One of his scrolls. There's no scrolls in this campaign, right?
No. This is one scroll.
But there's a key.
No. That's I want to try to have different things for each campaign. For this campaign, instead of scrolls, it's something much smaller. I've got something that I announced with each. Oh, so along with the evolving tiers, there was also phases. So that added to the complication. There were phases that the campaign went through. So each time a phase passed, a tier, an evolving tier would drop out, and a new one would come in. So that's where the evolutions came. So once I explained it all, it kind of all makes sense. Like I said, all the red wires together. But in the first phase, I had introduced this, one of my acrylic keys. They are basically like a keychain that people can add on. And it's the same keychain that Larissa, the main character, wears on her necklace.
Hang on, hold that back up again. I'm going to zoom in.
She uses it to transform into the Valkyrie. And you see it's got that hoop on the back.
Yeah.
Either as a necklace like she does. She has a black string, and that's how she uses it as a necklace. And double-sided acrylic key.
Nice.
And it's an add-on on the campaign. And so it's something I introduced at the end of the first week. And so, each of the Valkyries has their own key that they use to transform into the Valkyrie, from a regular college student into the 50-foot Valkyrie. And then in the second week, so that first week, it was kind of like focused on Larissa, which is the water Valkyrie. And so in the second week, I introduced the fire Valkyries, add-ons and covers and stuff like that. And then when I had the red key, and that's the one that Diana, the Fire Valkyrie, uses. So it's
very
same deal. I think they came out pretty nice. They were designed by Gian, and they are the same key that girls wear in the comic. So it's just an acrylic key, like a keychain. So you can have it on your keychain. And then the third week, I had the Earth Valkyrie, and unfortunately, I used a different printer for this one. It's really bad. I think this one, and so it's much smaller. But of course, the final product will be this size, the size of the other ones. But this is the Earth key. The design is right. It's just the quality of this one and the size was surprisingly smaller. So, but yeah, that's the one. That's the third key. And yeah, like I said, the final product will be this size, like the other ones, and it'll be double-sided. But yeah, so third week, people were able to add on the key. And then to make things more exciting, even more exciting, if you did add on a key, I announced last week, is anyone that added on a key, each key, there's a chance to get one of these, which is, yeah, so that's one of the covers available by artist Kale New. It is a metal cover variant of the book, and anyone that added a key has a chance. So each key has, there's going to be 7 winners for each key. So if you added all 3 keys, you have that much more of a chance. You could only win one of the book, but you have a better chance if you added all 3 keys to your pledge. So again, it's just things to keep things interesting and more rewards for simple things. So instead of the scrolls, I did the keys.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a great idea. It's very unique. All your campaigns, you seem to have that, some unique, obviously everything themes well, but just some unique stuff, like, in last time we had you on the show, you had those scrolls and Billy was like, holy crap, that's amazing. And, now you've got the keys. I mean, that's awesome. Let's head over to your campaign. I mean, so right now, like I said, you're at 43,100. You have 596 backers. You've got so many, like you said, you have that, anime style influence to it. The pages are beautiful. The coloring, the lines, everything looks great, man.
Yeah, I try to find the best artists for the interiors too, because I know a lot of times you've got a beautiful cover, but the interior kind of makes you cringe or put the book back down.
Yeah.
I always say that as a kid when I go to the comic store and I see a great looking cover and I open the book, I get home, read the book, and I'm like, it's not the same artist inside, or not the same quality and not the same level. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to find like a really great interior artist for all my books. I think all my books have a pretty decent interior artist, and Valkyrie's no exception.
I love this right here. This is, I think, incredible.
Yeah, that was one of our recent add-ons. That's the hardcover. And so the hardcover has issue 1, 2, and 3, and the pinup book, and the art book I just also introduced yesterday. So, or was that? Yeah, yesterday. And so that is 104 pages and has all of that all in that one book.
That's my favorite.
That's the Forbidden Dreams pinup book. That's all pinups on the inside of that one. And it's for whatever reason, it's really popular. I don't know, but for some reason,
I can't imagine why it's very popular.
Yeah, you can't quite figure it out, but people like it, so
people love buildings, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's buildings. Yes,
it's just architecture. Everyone loves good architecture.
Yeah. Was.
So you've unlocked a lot of stretch goals. It's just continuing and continuing. Yeah. How many people are working on this? How many artists?
I haven't gone through and counted them, which I really should. I was just thinking about doing like a little just for fun contest in between the campaigns and have people count it up for me and see how many artists have I used on campaigns, because I've got digital artists, I've got cover artists, I've got interior artists, and there's quite a few, and especially now with this one with so many different artists, where this one is like almost all new artists, several which this is the first time I work with them, and it's I'm working with a bunch of artists, giving them all a chance to get out there.
This is something new I've never seen. Yeah. You're doing social media stretch goals.
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that for some of the board game campaigns, and that's why I picked that up. Unfortunately, I haven't quite mastered that yet. As you can see, neither one's been unlocked, and it's something I just wanted to try out. It probably works. It works best with video games campaigns, because with video campaigns, instead of a digital reward for people, it's something that goes in the video game, which is much easier to do. Like a new avatar's added or whatever that you can use in chat rooms and stuff like that. But I figured it's still something to try. It would have been emojis people can put out, for their Facebook. That's what those basically were, and wallpapers.
And it, is another way for you to have your fans interact with your campaign.
Right. I just had for the first time I set up the Mount Olympus Facebook group, so people can go in there and share stuff like that and talk about the campaign and give feedback or whatever. And that's the top tier I was just talking about. Let me show you. I got that box actually. So something else I wanted to do different. I think I had this for Samurai Voss 2 last time I was here, but it's a box that only the top tier gets, and the box has the Valkyrie Savers 3. It's got the Mount Olympus logo on the bottom, and the top 3 tier books will be inside the box. It's this collector's edition because it's a collector's edition tier that comes with this box, and it's got the beautiful artwork on the box.
Yeah.
By Art of Nate, who also did the previous box. But I just think it's a cool thing because whenever I see like some of the Kickstarters for video games, or I see sometimes like new video games announced and they have a collector's edition, they've always got this beautiful box, and I was like, that's kind of cool. I'd like that. I'd like to back a campaign and get a box. So I am looking at probably doing boxes not just for the top tier next time, maybe for one of the middle tiers, or if someone wants to add it on. I'm looking at doing stuff like that for the next campaign probably.
One of the things that when you held that box up, it made me think of some artists where you buy their artwork. They instead of just sending a regular box, they actually sketch on the box.
Oh yeah.
I know some of the artists that do it, and I'm like, to have a piece like that, just you're not just getting what's inside, but you're getting like original artwork on the box too. Like that's a piece of art now, instead of just a regular brown box.
Yeah.
So,
well, and this one I'm trying to make it. This box I won't remake this box. Like I'll make different kinds of boxes like this. But this art that's designed, this layout is only for the collector's edition for this Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Just like the one I did for Samurai Voss too. So it's again just to make the collector's edition, which is the top tier, more interesting and better. In terms of like where you're gonna, when you open up that big collector's edition box, and then you've got this box inside of it, the exclusive books only in this box that are found in that tier. So just I think it makes it more fun. Hopefully.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the water in Arizona, but you guys pack in some hefty campaigns. Between Brian Polito, Kara, Marat, you. I mean, who else? You guys like got a little club over there or something.
There is a lot of us out here, and it's just funny. I was just thinking about that the other day. How there's so many of us here. It's the heat,
It's the heat.
It's so hot outside. We're stuck in here. Let's come up with some ideas. Put stuff in there. Let's get it.
Yeah. I was going to say it's because of the time difference.
Oh yeah, they're messing with our
warm weather.
Were the Metal Shade creators from Arizona too, Frank, or were they California?
They're from East. Well, I think one of them is originally I think he's originally from California, but the East Coast, I'm pretty sure, or Midwest.
They're Midwest. I don't think it's Wisconsin. Maybe Kansas. No. Let me see. Hold on.
You don't need to. It's all right. I just was curious because it is a simple layout.
Kansas. I was correct. Yeah.
Oh, it was Kansas.
Give me a map that shows where all the creators you guys have worked with. I got to do that with my artists too. I was thinking of doing a map and putting like a little tag in every country that I've worked with an artist from.
But I think Isric was all over when we interviewed him. He was talking about him being just around the world, but now lives in Kansas.
Gotcha.
Fiance.
His fiance, yeah.
No,
it's incredible though. I mean, you guys are all cranking them out. I mean, it's like a Kickstarter factory over there.
That's Arizona for you, Kickstarter factory.
I think everybody was waiting for January to pass and just threw out some really good campaigns.
Yeah. It's it's the holidays are definitely a hard time to run a campaign. People are, spending time with their families, not really checking out online and spending money on Christmas stuff. So, I mean, sure, if you can time it and have it be where you're fulfilling right before Christmas, that'd be huge. But you can't really run it during Christmas to fulfill during Christmas. So people are like, oh, I'm spending money on these gifts. I can't, you can't give them an IOU.
Mhm.
Hey, this is coming from this Kickstarter. If you could, then it would be a good time to do it during Christmas. But because of that, it's just a harder time. I did a smaller campaign, kind of another test. I had my cards campaign, poker card campaign during that time. But for a comic book campaign, I needed to have it in a more stable time. And there's definitely different times of the year where it's better or worse. Of course, I think January is a pretty good time, of course, and also the summer. So
Mhm.
that's what I find to be the better times of the year for the campaigns, and that's probably when you'll see a lot more, especially in the summer. I'm sure you'll see every year there's been more people running Kickstarter, so I'm sure this summer is going to be a lot of people.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I did feel January was a little slow, of looking, both Indiegogo and Kickstarter of campaigns. I think
It's revving up though. I see more and
yeah,
more.
oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Yeah. But I think December and January are tough months, but at the same time, if you have something good and you just throw it in there while everyone's kind of silent, you could probably run away with a great campaign.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
definitely, definitely, and not for nothing. I mean, it's no lie, it's tax season as well. As the tax returns come in, I mean, it is a good time to start running your campaigns. But plus, everyone kind of takes that break. There's that hiatus, in the last quarter. A few people go in for that last inning, see what they can do. But you're ready to start your new season right after the new year. So I mean, it makes sense for it. And yeah, you're right, Ron. Each year, it's more and more people are entering crowdfunding. More and more people are doing it. But it's creators like yourselves that are, stay on top, and you're on like a schedule. You have a system, and your backers know what they're getting because you're always thinking outside the box and how can I make this better? I mean, this is your store, this is your livelihood. So you have a set schedule. You do a certain amount of books each year. And for the viewers out there that aren't familiar with it, I mean, on average, what are you producing a year? How many books?
Oh, that's hard to say because outside of the Kickstarter too, I try to do my weekend exclusives on my Etsy shop.
Mhm.
So in between, I'll do weekend exclusives, and that I don't do it every weekend. Of course, I do
Yeah.
about 2 a month, holidays and stuff like that. Or if I'm at the show, so show exclusive becomes a weekend exclusive for that weekend if I'm at a particular convention. But I really honestly I couldn't give you a number because again also the number of books I'm doing has increased because my fan base has increased. So I've got more people buying the books. I've got more stuff going on. I've got more titles. Now I've got Patriotica 1, 2, and 3 and
Mhm.
Patriotica United, and then I've got Valkyrie Saviors 1, 2, and now 3, and then I've got Samurai of Oz 1 and 2. And then also in the fall, I've got Samurai of Wonderland coming in. So that's, just one more thing that I'll be juggling and having available for fans and stuff.
Oh, very cool. And now, how are you doing with the convention scene? What have you got lined up this year?
So I've got my very first show of the year coming up in March, which is the Dallas Fan Expo. First time I'm doing that show.
Mhm.
First time in Dallas. So we'll see how it goes. I know a lot, actually, outside of I think California and New York, Dallas is Los Angeles and New York City. Dallas is the third highest amount of backers that I get. So I'll be curious to see if any backers come out and just to see what I've got at the show because I'll have exclusives from some of the artists, and I'm bringing 2 wonderful artists with me, Ruben Rosas and Mog Park, and both of them have been contributors in the past. And they'll be, next to me at the show, and they'll be taking commissions and all that stuff. So it should be a fun show, I think.
Oh, very cool. Now, what do you have? Are you going to be hitting up anything on the East Coast this year?
Initially, I wanted to do the Canada, not in the East Coast, but the Fan Expo that's out that way, and then something near it. But right now, New York. That's probably the only one on my radar.
Okay.
Oh wow!
Now you attended last year, right? I know I had to
Yeah.
cancel mine. I was going to head there with Billy, but I wasn't able to go. That's 2 years in a row that happened to me. Not this year. Not this year,
Yes.
Frank Amazing.
Get out there.
Not canceling anything.
We'll see.
We'll see, right?
We'll
I think
see.
it's cursed. I think I'm cursed with New York Comic Con.
that
I don't know.
show is crazy. It's really a lot of
it's so much
It is.
fun. It's a lot of fun.
yeah.
You know, we went 1 year, and then 2 years, you know, after, it's just one string after another. I think they were all like work related too. But I couldn't go. But anywho, yeah, that'd be great because you went last year, right?
Right. Yeah, it was. In one day, it was like the biggest day I've ever had at a convention. So for me, it was like, wow, okay, this is New York. You know, it's.
Yeah.
And I went with, you know, I had a table for one day. It was like something I worked out with someone where I could have that table for one day, and yeah, it really like blew my mind what people were coming through, and they were like, you know, usually I've got like my less expensive books and, you know, the metals and chromes, which are more expensive, and they just didn't even see my $20 books. They were like, what about this one, or what about this one over here? I'm like, really? And it was just like nothing. So I was like, wow, this is so different from like other shows where I'm like, you know, people, it's the reverse, where the ones up here, very few people look at, but the ones that are, you know, like $5, $20, those are the ones people saw. And in New York, I barely sold any of those. It was all the metals and chromes. And maybe it's just people coming in from out of state that, you know, they're already like, okay, you know, I want to get something really rare.
Yeah. Well, it's like an international show, you know, it's like, you know, East Coast, you have New York Comic Con, West Coast, you have, you know, San Diego. So, I mean, it's
I've never been
go big or go home, right? You gotta make sure you're bringing some memorable stuff.
Once, you might as well get something you remember. And these, you know, metal cover like this, you'll remember this, you know, oh, I got that in New York kind of thing. Yeah. Because these metal covers, they're beautiful. But
they're gorgeous. A lot of people are doing the metal covers now. I mean, they're awesome.
Yeah,
you know?
They come out great. Now,
I mean, I personally wouldn't buy it. No, I'm just joking.
There is something new that I'm trying for the first time also on a Kickstarter. I've done them a couple times on my weekend exclusives. I almost sold it. I sold out of the first one. The second one is lenticular, but they're not just regular lenticulars. I actually do have one here. Oh, but it's okay. I'm gonna have to cover it because I don't want to.
Yeah, no inappropriate.
So let's see. Yes, let's see. Okay. So you see.
Oh, it's like hologram. Oh,
it's both. It's not just lenticular.
Wow. Yeah. Was that like the 3D holographic cover?
Right, exactly. So it's a 3D holographic lenticular cover. I'll take it out of the bag.
I knew I had to check off this episode wouldn't be safe for children.
You put that disclaimer because, you know.
I really did.
So this particular one I had Joe just as an experiment.
Yeah. That's neat.
Wow.
You see how it changes.
Yeah.
So I did this for a weekend exclusive a couple weekends ago. And it was, for some reason, it was wildly popular. And, I've got one on the Kickstarter. I just announced first time. It's on there. It's that one in particular is two different naughty covers. It's one of the animated GIFs on the Kickstarter page, or GIF, I don't know.
GIF. I just figured that out. It is GIF. It's
GIF. Okay, that's what I thought, but you know, I don't want to offend anyone.
Those GIF versus GIF people.
Yeah.
They're battling it out.
So yeah, I had the lenticular on there, and that was a very, very popular add-on also. Just first time I had it, it was kind of fun putting the promos for it together because it actually was the GIFs. I've never done that before either for promoting, and they were really easy to set up. People really liked it. So the lenticular and
John Gunn Comics. What the hell did I just walk into?
I don't know. There's a disclaimer.
Yeah, talk about a magical girl transformation.
I think there should be a GIF of just Ron like moving it back and forth.
I know. We're gonna have to pull that. We'll have to pull that off the episode. It's just him going like this.
If you join the show,
the creepy comic guy.
No.
The creepy comic guy with the goatee.
Great.
There you go. But hey, Ron, thank you so much for coming back on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you on. And everyone, you know, if you can get out there, help support Valkyrie Saviors 3. He's currently at $43,100. He's 4 backers away from 600. 3 days left on this campaign. all of his books are fun. Ron has, you know, been generous, has given Billy and myself some of these books digitally in hand, and they're absolutely fantastic books. He's always has great artists. He's always very creative on what he picks. You know, the last time he was on here, he had these little scrolls as one of the stretch goal things with some, you know, cool stuff to it, and now he's got the keys, you know, to collect. So, you know, if you can back it back. If you can't, remember what we always say. You know, not everyone has the funds, or something might not just be exactly right for you, but it could be something you respect and like. So just share it. Throw it up on your Facebook, throw it up on your Twitter, your Instagram, whatever you can do to help another creator or anyone that's trying to just make their dreams happen. So again, Ron, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you guys.
It's a pleasure to have you on. And next time you have another campaign, shoot me a message, and we will make sure to have you back on, my friend.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, guys.
Awesome. All right, Ron, we'll catch you later.
Take care, Ron.
Man, it's another great campaign. Ron's pushing some good stuff. I love those keys.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I love that. And then before we get into our next guest, just want to do a quick shout out to our top moderator out there. Thursday, 9 p.m. Check out me, Andy Summers, Peter Gilmore, and Wyatt Holiday. They have some huge campaign updates and new stretch goals. So again, that's going to be Thursday at 9 p.m. So without further
I
ado,
feel like you should move to the left a bit.
like
No,
this way,
no, the other way.
this way.
Yeah, that way. Keep going.
Why?
Keep going.
No, what are you doing?
I'm
What are you doing?
Putting your head where the body is. See
My
right
head.
below you?
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Very clever. I'm like, what are you doing? What do you see behind me? I'm like, it's like a what's here? Oh, very funny, Frank. Amazing.
Yep.
Well, now we've got to switch it up a little bit. Not that you
Yeah.
can see it because the screens block it. But without further ado, we have, so just to give you a big background on this, I was, you know, doing what I do. And every week, you know, I go on Indiegogo, I go on Kickstarter, I look at projects and things, and something came across. And, you know, it was a very fun book. It's Mary Shelley Presents the Trade Paperback. I thought it was just very interesting, very cool. I'm not actually, you know what? Let's not jump ahead.
No.
But I'd love to introduce our next guest, Debbie Lynn Smith. Debbie, welcome to the
Hi,
show.
Debbie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just, you know, I saw this and I was like, oh, wow. And I saw the name. So, you know, of course, I jumped on, you know, all the different social media and tried to find you. And I did. And I messaged you and I was like, hey, you got to come on. This is so cool. You know, I'm a huge fan of Mary Shelley and stuff like that. And then, you know, obviously diving into it more, I've learned more about, you know, Chimera Press and stuff like that. And even some of your background, which I think is really cool and really interesting.
Okay.
I actually told my mom about it. You know, she was like,
Touched by an angel, right?
let's see, Touched by an Angel.
Yeah.
Murder, She Wrote, Touched by an Angel.
Yeah,
Dr. Quinn,
she'll
Medicine
Dr.
Woman.
Quinn.
Whole, DVD
I
series
actually
and see if
liked
you could
Dr.
sign.
Quinn. I remember I would watch that. I liked it. I don't care. It was a good show.
Yeah, people's moms, you know, they like it.
Well, you know, it was that time. What was that? Early 90s for Dr. Quinn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
CBS.
So, Debbie, for our fans out there and our viewers that aren't familiar with your work, please, can you give us kind of a bit of your origin story? Like, how did you get into writing? How did you get into comics? You know, etc.
Okay, I'd been writing since I was 8 years old, but I started taking it seriously later. And I write mostly horror, but also fantasy, urban fantasy, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I studied with Dennis Etchison. I don't know if you guys know that name, but he was an award-winning horror writer. Bill Nolan also was a mentor. He wrote Logan's Run with George Clayton Johnson.
Yep.
And they just took me under their wing and kind of mentored me through. So I was writing short stories, and I had an opportunity to work for a television show. So I quit my contracts administrative position with all the vacation and all the. I became a writer's assistant on a show called Tour of Duty, and then I learned how to write scripts on that show. So I went to Trials of Rosie O'Neill, which starts Sharon Gless, and sold my first script.
Wow.
So cool. That's how I got into television. And, you know, went through, you know, basically what you've already said. But at the end of Touched by an Angel, I got quite ill and discovered that I had a lung disease called bronchiolitis obliterans with organizing pneumonia. And that was in 2000. In 2009, we discovered that it was caused by the butter flavoring in microwave popcorn.
Wow.
There is a toxic chemical in the butter flavoring of microwave popcorn. You know, you open it up and it smells so good and that steam comes out. Yeah. Well, it's toxic. And
good to know. Wow.
You know,
first here.
And when you're in production and you're they're always making, because they provide microwave popcorn and all that kind of stuff. So I had a lot of microwave popcorn. So I couldn't do television writing anymore. So I wrote audio dramas, I wrote short stories, I got my MFA, and then my agent suggested that I turn a pilot I had into a comic book. And I wasn't sure I wanted to do that because when I was a kid, comic books went to all superheroes and I just wasn't into them. I'm so sorry to the superhero fans out there. I liked them in the movies, but I didn't like them in comics. And so I went to my local store, and you've gone from Arizona to Nevada now. We're in Nevada. And talked to the Ralph, who's the owner of Alternate Realities. And he was just incredible. He turned me on to Why the Last Man, Saga, even Moss. I read Moss. I mean, I took a year studying comics, studying the writing form, going to conventions, decided, yes, I did want to turn my pilot into a comic book, and I was going to try to sell it. But going to conventions, I noticed that there weren't a whole lot of women. As a matter of fact, the ones I went to had no women on the panels.
Oh, wow.
And so this was, 2013, something like that. And so I decided to form my own company. It's completely different than what you guys just had on your show. I have nothing against it. I just didn't want to do it. So we use women artists and writers. We believe in realistic bodies, both in men and women. And we believe in strong female protagonists. So that's Chimera Press. And that's how I got into this whole thing.
And then here's the website here for it.
And Gates of Midnight is the graphic novel that I write.
No, all the books, I was going through this, Debbie, and I mean, the artwork on the books, reading up on the books. I haven't read an issue because I don't have my hands on anything yet. But what I have been able to read, I mean, it really is good stuff that you guys have going on here.
Thank you.
It's funny that you mentioned, Ron, prior, because we were actually talking about the difference between his books and your books, and we actually had a good laugh, and we're like, well, I'm sure, hopefully she has a good, a good personality and everything, and because
we don't have objections to it. We just want to put something else out there.
No, and I think what you guys are doing is great, and that's what the industry needs. We need to have that nice, just mix everything, because like you said, you brought up a pretty cool point, and that's like for you weren't really into like superheroes, right? But and that's kind of an issue right now in comics, like if you're a traditional person, because superheroes are like kind of fading. It's a really weird spot for the superhero character. A lot of stuff, and you'll see it like with Image and things like that, what they're producing is not really superhero based. Like me, I'm traditional. I enjoy a good superhero comic. That's what I grew up with. That's how I learned how to draw and write. And, I like my Batman. I don't care what anyone says and the direction it's going. And I'll always like Batman. It's just what I grew up with and like. But I am liking a lot of what I'm seeing. And what's cool and I think really neat with what you've done with Gates of Midnight, because it went from a script to a comic, right? Or a graphic novel, whichever format you have, it's basically the same format. But you still have the potential for that to become, something on the screen. And that's what I'm seeing. A lot of stuff that's being adapted for Netflix, Amazon, a lot of the streaming services now, because that's what they're doing. They're sifting through all this. It's like, well, let's get a new show. Well, let's not reinvent something. Let's see what someone's already done. And now the opportunity is coming. And what's neat is they're not superhero stuff.
Right.
So it's cool to see, Gates of Midnight could happen, it could be on Netflix someday. You never know.
I have a producer who asked me for the script. I always have producers coming at San Diego or something like that and asking about the rights, but you don't hold your breath.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. We've never experienced that ourselves with anything of ours, but we know a lot of people that have, and even some creators that have actually had their work go to this, to the small screen and TV series and stuff. And they're like, it's, like you were saying, it's, don't hold your breath on certain things. And sometimes it's not all it's cracked up to be, you can lose a lot of your characters and things like that. But we've never experienced, but no, it's cool, and I like what you guys are doing. So how many books currently now are being produced through Chimera Press?
Well, we have 5 different titles. Okay. There's various volumes for each one. Mary Shelley Presents, which is our Kickstarter, we have actually 4 individual issues that we want to collect into a trade. And they're all oversized issues. So, there they are. Basically, the premise is Mary Shelley and Frankenstein's monster introduced the short stories of Victorian women horror writers. And these women were as famous as Charles Dickens and Bram Stoker. And yet, nobody knows about them. Except maybe if you're a literature major. Yeah. And so, that's the cover of our trade.
Yeah. And it's true, and it's, they were great authors.
They were great. They were great authors. And, well, I've heard a lot being a woman in horror that women can't write horror. So it was my thing. Nancy Holder, who is a 5-time Bram Stoker Award winner and a New York Times bestseller, is adapting these stories. And she's a horror writer. I'm a horror writer. And we've just wanted to bring these voices out of the past and show people women have been writing horror since way back then.
Yep.
When women weren't supposed to be writing at all. They were going against the grain.
Now, how do you develop your team? So because you have, so obviously what we're on here for really is for your Mary Shelley book here.
Right.
But since I'm just kind of scrolling down, if you don't mind.
Those are all our books.
You've got all your books here. So how did you come about these? Now, are you pulling the teams together to create these? Are people coming to you with a property? Are you writing all of these?
No. Actually, we pulled the teams together. Pet Noir was a novel by Patty Nagel. And we pulled, actually, my artists that do the penciling are all from Brazil, except for one. She's from Italy. So there's Glasshouse Graphics as an agency that represents artists. I use them a lot. I found them because I wanted Amelia Wu. I had read a book that she had done and decided I wanted her for Gates of Midnight. And it was the best find. I mean, she does the pencils and inks in both Gates of Midnight and Mary Shelley Presents. But I did have a person approach me at San Diego Comic-Con with her novel, and she wanted to make it into a comic book, and she wanted to use us, which was very nice. And that was Ivory Ghosts. And Ivory Ghosts is a murder mystery set against the illegal ivory trade. And the first 2 issues are being sold at the Smithsonian Natural History Museum.
Oh, fantastic.
In the gift store. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, we were like, ah!
Yeah.
It was like when we first got the notice, it was like, okay, is this real?
Yeah.
We weren't sure it was real.
No, that's great. No, it's cool. I'm seeing actually a lot of creators are actually getting their books out there. Like the stuff that they're crowdfunding is making its way into other locations. Mitch Breitweiser, they have their Alliance comics are now in Walmarts. They've got a little cardboard display. They're now in all Walmarts. Alterna Comics, another independent publisher, he's starting to work his way. I think he used to have deals with, Toys R Us and things like that before they went down, and his books would be in that store, and you have your books now in the museum. I mean, it's nice to see that there's some opportunities are opening up for independent publishers and creators to sell their books elsewhere besides, just online.
Right.
Or just a local comic shop. Like some people are actually looking elsewhere. In Ivory Ghosts, I mean, I'm a huge advocate for, animals and things of that nature. And, it is, sad what's going on in the world today, especially with the extinction of so many animals. It's like another species is extinct every day. That, it's nice to have some form of awareness, even if it is in a comic book or something, or using that, real world issue.
Well, the person who writes it, Caitlin O'Connor, Dr. Caitlin O'Connor, is the scientist that goes out to Africa to, and studies these elephants.
Yeah.
So the story is loosely based on her own story, true story. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy what's going on over there. I mean, there's actually like, contracted like military groups that come in to try to protect these animals. It's cool because you see like a lot of ex-soldiers, U.S. soldiers that go over there and do that as well and work with those organizations. But not to get too far off topic, but Mary Shelley Presents. If you don't mind, I'd love to play the video.
Sure.
We like to play the video for everyone. So
yes, Nancy Holder.
Fantastic. So, all right, guys, we're going to check out the Kickstarter campaign video for Mary Shelley Presents, the trade paperback.
Hi, I'm Nancy Holder, and I'm the writer on Mary Shelley Presents from Chimera Press. I'm also a New York Times bestselling author and the winner of 5 Bram Stoker Awards for my supernatural novels and short stories. I've loved comics all my life, ever since Wonder Woman, and I've written and edited a number of them for Moonstone Books. So when Debbie offered me the opportunity to write Mary Shelley Presents for Chimera, of course, I said yes. I'm drawn to Mary Shelley's life and that of her mother, the famous feminist Mary Wollstonecraft. They made giant strides in women's rights and the recognition of women as writers. So it seemed appropriate that Mary, along with the monsters she created, which made her so famous, should introduce the horror stories of her female contemporaries to today's readers. So far, I've adapted stories originally penned by Elizabeth Gaskell, Amelia Edwards, Edith Nesbit, and Margaret Strickland. All of these women were as famous as their male counterparts in their day. It's about time their names are resurrected in the present so that they can take their place among writers such as Bram Stoker and Charles Dickens. I hope you'll support this Kickstarter so that we can collect the first 4 issues of Mary Shelley Presents into a trade paperback, and I might continue writing the series. I'm planning to explore women science fiction writers from Mary Shelley herself to writers of the 30s next. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
So Debbie, let me ask you, is this now are these just adaptations?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are adaptations of short stories that were written in the Victorian era by these women. And then behind the adaptation, we put the original prose.
Okay.
So I can't. I mean, there's a lot of interest in when we go to conventions in Mary Shelley, because people aren't used to seeing literary comics.
Yeah.
You know, so, and these are literary comics, but they're still comics. They're beautiful artwork. The stories are so well adapted because Nancy's a horror writer. And we hope once we get it into trade that we could reach out to the educational market.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here remember says she wrote for Moonstone Books. They put out pulp
Yes.
heroes like Zorro and Phantom.
That's exactly right. Yes.
Yeah. Very cool. I love that. I like, it's cool because a lot of creators are using artists from Brazil and stuff, and there's so much talent over there. And I do love the interiors that were shown and that you go through, and even the coloring technique. Now, when you guys are developing these books, do you guys get to are all of you reviewing it? Like, do you even get to look at it, or just your creative team?
Say that again.
So with these books, like for Mary Shelley Presents, when you have that book set up, the pencils come in, the inks come in, you're working with your artistic team, creating the book. Do you get to actually look over all of that yourself as well? Or is it more for the team that's putting the book together?
We use Slack. You know Slack?
Yep.
And each team has a Slack thread for each book. And so all the artists get to see each other's work. They get to chime in. They really support each other. What we wanted to do was form a family-like atmosphere, very supportive. And I do, my husband actually, Paul, has been a lifesaver because I can't do 5 books by myself. So he works with the art director on Ivory Ghosts and on Pet Noir. And then I work with the art directors on the other 3. Basically, the art directors don't need a lot of overseeing, but these are my babies.
Yeah.
So my husband brought this into me to show you. This is like the short story after. Can you see?
Yep. I just zoomed you in.
Okay, yeah. So like that's the prose short story after the adaptation.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, wow.
That's neat. I like that. I like what you guys are doing. Now, what is what do you have hold in the future? Anything you can talk about? Like, is there any future campaigns coming up, or maybe a 6th book to be added to the lineup?
Well, first of all, there will be more Mary Shelley Presents, but we'll probably do science fiction. Science fiction and horror are pretty close to each other. So we have more Dragons by the Yard. Dragons by the Yard is based on a short story that I wrote. Kelly Swells writes it. And it has great art, and it has a completely different look than Mary Shelley Presents. I can actually show you one of our covers, which was done by our artist.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, you can really see it has different look to it. So we'll be finishing that. It's going to have 8 issues, and then we're going to crowdfund for a trade paperback. Gates of Midnight, I'm writing the 3rd volume. We have 2 volumes out. Right now, I have a couple of people who have sent me their work that would make great comics. But we're working this year. We're going to try to get distribution from Diamond, see what happens. And we're just working on marketing and getting our website, updated. And we're, of course, doing conventions.
What do you have lined up? What's your convention schedule looking like?
We don't have a lot this year yet because we're trying to decide what we're doing. But on March 7th, we're doing SheroCon, which is at the Culver City Mall, I think it's called now. It used to be called Fox Hills Mall in Culver City, California.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a one-day con, and it's for women business owners.
Oh, nice.
So I did it last year, and it was loads of fun. It was really fun. March 28th, we're doing another very small con in Mission Viejo, California. And it's just a library convention that is a lot of fun once again and gets us into the hands of families.
Yeah.
We are doing San Diego Comic-Con in July because
nice.
we have a booth there every year
Mm-hmm.
in the independent press area. We're doing another one, but I can't think of the name of it yet.
Have you guys ever hit the East Coast?
You know, we haven't yet. We do plan on doing that, but going into Ohio, which is where I'm originally from.
Oh, nice.
We have done some in Texas. What?
WonderCon.
Oh, we're doing WonderCon.
Oh, nice.
And this is our first time we've done WonderCon.
Yeah.
We usually went there because they have such great panels, and we never get to do the panels, so we always went there. So it's the first time we had a booth at WonderCon.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I hear that's a great show.
It is a good show. It's kind of a preview to San Diego Comic-Con, but much smaller.
Yeah. So are you guys trying to get on? You said you're trying to do panels?
I would love to do panels, yeah.
Did you submit? Did you request to do a panel?
I've done a panel at San Diego Comic-Con. Their panels, they haven't come out yet for this year. But I did a Mary Shelley panel. And it was the funniest thing because I was outside with all the panelists and we walked into this large room and it was standing room only. And we all just went, oh my God. We had no idea that this panel would be so popular. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah, we've done a few panels. It's been pretty cool. It's an interesting experience. Yeah, we try to do it usually any show that Billy's booked for, and unfortunately I apologize he's not here tonight. He has a family event. You know, he'll try to get a panel set up so we can do our crowdfunding comics panel, and then we see who's at the panel, and then we invite them on. Sometimes people get upset, like, "How come we don't have this person on? How come that person on?" It's like, well, they weren't invited to the convention. We can't fly them in and put them in a hotel.
Right.
You know, so we just see who's on the attendees list, and we invite them to come on. So, we've got a couple lined up this year. I think we're doing another one at Terrificon, and then DragonCon. Baltimore. I think we might be doing one. I don't know. We'll see. But Apex Comics says you'll get a lot of business on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
There you go. But no, this is fantastic. So currently now you have 15 days left on your campaign. You have 110 back. You've actually gotten 2 backers, I think, since we've started.
Yes, I have. Thank you.
So you're now up to 110 backers, $4,386. You're looking for a goal of 7,000. You have 15 days. So I obviously think you're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Plenty of time doing it. This is, again, guys, this is Mary Shelley Presents the Trade Paperback. I mean, we're all familiar with it. This looks like a very great adaptation. The art's beautiful. You can obviously the passion in the writer that's working on this. I mean, this is a great stuff here. I mean, this is really cool. I like this a lot. Get out there. If you can back it. If you can't, share it. Just help spread the word of this book, of what Chimera Press is doing in their mission on just bringing good quality comic books, to the masses. And that's what you guys are doing. And, it's nice. It seems like you're really taking your time to make sure that your product's good, instead of just trying to flood a bunch of different books under your name, under Chimera Press, and just trying to grow and grow. Looks like you guys really take the time to really focus on the quality of your products.
Well, it's when I started this company, I wanted to make sure that we had a professional product out there. I did not want to put out something that wasn't professional. Also, in the middle of this, I had a double lung transplant. And the art directors and my husband, Paul, kept the company going and kept the professionalism high.
Yeah.
So it was just so gratifying as I was recovering from the transplant that it's a family atmosphere, you know, it really is. And I have my artists have worked for DC, Marvel, IDW, Dynamite. I mean, just all of them, you know, and they love working for us. We obviously can't pay what the big guys can pay, so
most of us can't, you know.
But it is a paying market.
But that's where, you know, we also try to encourage people, you know, to keep on pushing and stretch goals, because that's where you can, you know, and as the campaigns get bigger, that's where you can, you know, if you can get to your 30,000, your 40,000, these guys are going up. That is nice, because then they can throw a little something like bonuses to the creators.
Have all kinds of bonuses, you know, that I would love to do, you know, because Amelia's been with me from the very beginning.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, but yeah, but we have all kinds of stretch goals lined up. If we can get to our goal, we'll give you lots of stuff.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you guys got some nice of t-shirts and things.
Debbie, is this a book for all ages?
Yes, it is.
You know, and I think that's something that we hear, you know, a couple of times where, you know, some of the other campaigns are more adult, you know, over the age of 18, you know, because of whatever they're showing graphic wise, you know, and yours, you know, this is something where anybody, you know, a new comic book reader or an avid writer that's young, you know, have them check it out and, you know, get that brain going with ideas, or you know, someone that's really into Mary Shelley, you know, or this type of horror.
Well, it's also educational because as you can see on issue number 1, it has Mary Shelley and her monster on the cover, and a man walked by our table and said, "Oh, I didn't know Frankenstein was written by a woman." So, you know, it's also educational in that sense. That yes, Frankenstein was written by a woman.
Well, Debbie, if you don't mind me asking, you know, being, you know, running an all female company, or mostly female company, because I know your husband helps as well.
Yes.
We don't want to leave Paul out, you know, and that setup and stuff going. I mean, what's your take on the comic industry as it stands today?
Since I started, it's become better for women. I still think that there is a ways to go. And I wish, I guess I wish there were more people putting out realistic bodies, because I think we have that's why we like to do, you know, all ages kind of comics, because we want girls to see the realistic bodies, but not only girls, but boys. I mean, look at the superheroes out there. You know, most of them are really buff or whatever. And so we want realistic people in our comics. I've been reading a lot about, you know, the fact that the comic industry is going towards graphic novels and trade paperbacks. And that's why we're trying to collect everything together, because we found that even at conventions that people are really drawn to a complete story rather than having to wait for the story to come.
Yeah, I think it's that kind of Netflix culture, the binge culture. You know, it's like people don't want to wait for, you know, next week for the next episode. They kind of just want like the whole thing.
That's right. Yes.
You know? And so I think, that's why, you know, that's definitely the culture that's coming through. But, you know, and I can see them building that up too with like the graphic novels, or even longer books. You know,
Right.
they're kind of changing the format, and it may not be like your traditional trade paperback, but it's like a 64-page book or even a 36-page book. Like they're starting to give more content. But then it seems like there's, you know, there is a little bit of a gap in between, but that it would be the same, you know, culture as, you know, the binge watching and stuff like that we have
Right.
now with television, you
Right.
know. But then you just got to be careful because now it seems like everyone's doing the streaming stuff now. You know, before it was like, oh, let's do this, and now all the cable companies do it. So it's like, well, what's the point of it?
Right.
You know, so hopefully there'll be a good balance with all this, and you know, we won't just get flooded with everything. But no, this is really cool what you guys are doing, and you know, when you get your next campaign going, now, are any of the other series you're looking to do the same thing, bring into a trade paperback?
Well, we already did our Pet Noir series, and it's actually this is Pet Noir. Oops, it's kind of shiny.
Oh, that is shiny. Let me zoom in there for you.
Sorry, there we
you
go.
Oh.
Okay. Pet Noir is about Leon. He's a genetically engineered cat who's an undercover cop on a space station.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cats in Space reward tier has Mary Shelley and Pet Noir as rewards. But we also just added these today. These are our plushies.
Plushies. There you go. Let me bring you in there.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, cool.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, these are from Pet Noir. Spats and Layla. And they're from Pet Noir, and we just added a reward where you can get those as well.
Oh, very cool.
So, I mean, we have all kinds of different rewards, as you can see with the T-shirt, with the pin, with other, you know, Gates of Midnight is in one, Pet Noir is one. Pet Noir is actually our bestseller. People love Leon, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very cool, very cool. So, so they should... What's that, Frank?
It's only 55, I think. The Cats in Space plus.
Oh, so the pledge level?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Well, no, as a pledge level. So
yeah, pledge level. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, if they go to your website, they can shop. So if you go to product/shop, they can go in and, you know, they can purchase your other series and your other books and everything. Now, is every issue you have is on here, right?
Yes.
For each series, perfect.
Except for Mary Shelley #4. Because Mary Shelley #4, we haven't published yet. We're only going to publish for now in the trade paperback. So it's exclusive to the trade paperback. We may decide to publish it as an individual issue later, but we didn't want to do that. We want to get the trade paperback out.
Very cool. Great. Well, fantastic. Well, Debbie, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking to me about this.
Thank you.
You know, I will back this as well as I'm a huge fan of Mary Shelley's work. And we'll keep pushing it out there for everyone, you know, for everyone to see. You know, it's a great product out there.
You've been doing it great.
And yeah, you know, you got 15 days left. You know, you're looking for 7,000. I think you guys will have no issue getting there. And really, it is a good, you know, I love the illustrations on this. I love the coloring. I love the style. The lines are great on the work. Again, you know, I haven't really gotten a chance to read all the books. I've been able to read inserts and things, and they seem pretty cool. But I'll definitely try to get my hands on some more stuff. But no, it's very, very good stuff that you have here, and it's cool what you're doing with your company, Chimera Press. And you know, it's neat. I mean, let me ask, where do you see the company in 5 years?
Oh my God. I'm just trying to make it through this Kickstarter. It's so nerve-wracking. But 5 years, I would like to have I would like to have distribution. I would like to make some money so that we can continue doing this and continue putting out more titles. And I told you before about my my lung disease from the popcorn. I did sue. I got a lot of money. I put some aside. I did this company. So everything up until now has come out of our pocket to get all of these made. And this is the first time that we're asking for help. So I hope that we can get it.
Well, as my normal co-host usually says, you know, comics is the industry where you can make hundreds of dollars.
Yes, that's right.
He says that I think like once every episode to someone, like, so that always comes up. Like, well, it is the industry where you can make hundreds of dollars.
That's right.
And Hiram Burr has a question for you, Debbie.
Okay.
Have you heard of Ariella Cristantina, who drew Victorian style female horror for Margaret Bennett's comic on Aftershock, Insexed? She might be a good artist for you.
Wow, no, I have not heard of her, and I'm going to write down her name because I'm always watching artists. Can I? Okay, hold on just a minute.
And then your books right now are on your website. Apex Comics is asking. So yeah, if you head over to ChimeraPress.inc.com, you can purchase all the books except issue 4 of Mary Shelley Presents, because that's not out yet until this campaign ends. And are you in any of your books in local comic shops, like within your area?
Yes, Alternate Realities Comics in Las Vegas here. And after the Kickstarter, we're going to just hit all the comic book stores in the area. Mm-hmm. So,
all right, very good. Well, again, Debbie, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. We wish you all the best. We'll keep sharing your campaign through our channels, and we hope to see more from you. And if you have anything new coming on, any new books, doesn't even have to be a crowdfunded thing. If you want to come on and discuss a new project you have going on, you know, you're more than welcome to. We would appreciate that. And try to get yourself over to the East Coast some more. I think your books would do really well here.
Okay, great.
You know? So again, thank you so much for coming on the show. And
thank you.
Everyone, if you can, just one more time, we're going to head over here to Mary Shelley Presents, the trade paperback, 15 days to go, 110 backers, just a little bit over $2,500 to go to goal. Let's make it happen for them and continue supporting what these great creators are doing.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Debbie. And I look forward to seeing what you have coming up in the future. All right.
Me too.
You're right. Have a great night, Debbie. Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
Debbie.
you. Bye-bye.
All right. Another great guest, man. That's so cool.
Two great guests.
Two great guests tonight. Two very different guests in what they're producing, but both very passionate about what they're doing, and both very respectful of other creators and what they're doing out there. I mean, everyone has their own thing, and, you know, what they're putting out there, I mean, you know, it's great stuff. I mean, you know, the quality of everything, like I said, I'm going to, you know, get a couple copies, read some of the books, some of the other stuff from the series, because you know us, we like to, you know, really get to be involved with the creators and see what they're producing and what they have out there, so that, you know, we can give our full-fledged opinion on them. And from what I have seen, you know, say what you want, you know, people, well, oh, you know, females get plenty of recognition, this and that. Well, you know, they're creators, right? You know, we're all creators, and it's about great products. And, you know, everyone deserves the right to produce something they're passionate about.
And you heard it from her in regards to taking time and thinking about what to do. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to go on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and I'm going to start this campaign. Let's see what happens. You know, very thoughtful. You know, I think that's an important piece that you need to let everyone know, that there is thought in regards to it, and then they actually go out and do it.
Exactly.
And you have to respect that.
Exactly. And, you know, it's, you know, I mean, let me put this back up here. I mean, this is great stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the illustrations in this book, you know, and I mean, if you read the you know, read in the word bubbles and what they give you, and some other stuff you can kind of pull up on Google with some of the past previews they've done. I mean, the writing and everything seems great. The illustrations are fantastic in all of their books. I mean, the covers are beautiful. And I mean, these are great stories. These are absolutely great stories. Now, Pet in New York, I haven't read. I haven't read any of that stuff. I was able to check out Gates of Midnight. I saw a couple snippets and samples of that. That was pretty cool. Ivory Ghost, I didn't get any of that either. And Dragons, I saw a couple snippets when I was doing some research on Google. But I mean, you know, I love indie publishers. You know, we need to have more of that out there. You know, whatever your creation is, if you want to have, you know, however you want to have your thing. I mean, it's your guys, it's everyone's creations, and that's what needs to come back to comics is, respect for all creators, respect for everything, because everyone has different tastes.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone has the different tastes and their own opinions on things. And that's what we need. We need to have good diversity like that. If you want big buff superheroes, then you get your big buff superheroes from those publishers. If you don't want that, then you get your stuff from these publishers. If like that's all we need. Just good stories, good art. It's good to have the breakdown of different things and whatnot. So it's cool. I very much enjoyed tonight's show, Frank. Amazing.
Oh yeah. We had 2 great guests from 2 different aspects, hopefully what they
not on purpose.
No.
Not on purpose. That was so funny. We're like, oh wow. I was like, wait a minute. I said, Ron. He's like, yeah, I know. I mean, geez, my stuff. I'm like, yeah. I was like, I don't think you have anything to worry about. But no, it's
the
funny.
Last time now, books the guests.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah. It was a great show.
It was.
Yeah, and then tomorrow night, man. I mean, Thursday night, we've got a great
bananas.
I'm excited for Thursday night, and for those of you that don't know yet or haven't seen the promos, we have Mitch Halleck, who's our local comic comic convention, Terrificon, which is a fantastic convention. I should tell Debbie. I'll have to tell Debbie about this one and give her Mitch's email and see if this is something they'd want to attend. But Jerry Ordway, he's a class act. He's a gentleman. He's the man that really brought Shazam back to mainstream. He made the character relevant again, not that cartoony superhero that he was doing. And I mean, he's also the guy that said, "Hey, I got a whack idea. Let's kill Superman." So I mean, if you check out, Jerry's background, I mean, he's done some crazy things, and he's a penciler, he's a writer, he's an inker. I mean, his inking career is, I mean, incredible of who he's inked for. I mean, it's unbelievable. So very excited. Thursday night, 9 p.m. we'll be on with Mitch and Jerry. And why are these guys together? Because they've created a bond. And like local Connecticut guys, they're local Connecticut guys. But also, Jerry and Mitch have a podcast. And that's the Power Cosmic Podcast. So you can hit that up on, iTunes, really anywhere that you can subscribe to a podcast, you can get it. And it's cool. So these guys are great to talk to. Super excited. Pumped to have these guys on. That will be this Thursday.
I don't know which side we're going to start with. Are we going to start with Terrificon, or are we going to start with?
I don't know. I have no clue.
We're Connecticut guys, and we talk about Terrificon. I'll tell you, Mitch hit it out of the park early. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, by the way, here's the first 10 guests that we're having at Terrificon, and it's like, where do you go from here?
Dude, just think about like after the con when we're all done. I mean, it's going to be insane. Like the creators that he has there, the voiceover talent that's there. He hasn't even really gone through the actors and actresses that'll be there. But I mean, that's the type of show. That's a show. It's literally a show for fans, produced by a fan. And many people can argue, well, that's how this convention is, and that's how that convention is. Yeah. And you could be 100% right. And we haven't experienced that convention, but Terrificon truly is like, it feels personal. Like you just have access to all these amazing people. It's not like crazy, like, you can't get into this area. There's curtains here. There's this and that. No, you may have to wait in a certain area to get to someone, but you can see them. You can see everybody, no matter who the guests are. And just the thought he puts into the artists that are there, the creators, the respect he gives everyone. Everyone shares the same green room. I mean, you're not put off to the side. Artists aren't just thrown over here, celebrities over there. Everyone just goes in the same place. I mean, it's a fun time. Definitely a great show. And if you guys can get out to it, it's this August. And
you'll see the Crowdfunding Comics staff.
Crowdfunding Comics crew will be there.
Yeah.
We're actually working on maybe having our mobile studio there. And I don't know. I was talking to Mitch about this. I don't know if we want to put it directly in Artist Alley.
Yeah.
we were talking about that. Like, well, if we do it, maybe we'll set up the studio directly in Artist Alley.
Well, I mean, I could speak for both you and I. That's where we spend the majority of.
Oh yeah, and that's where our
like,
people that are going to be on our show are. So we
right.
just,
Yeah.
and I could just pull a pad out and start drawing. I
Yeah,
mean, people
why
pay for
not?
commissions. You want a Captain America? Sure, I'll put something together for you. You know, and then we're artists in the alley, right?
Yeah, the people that are go to Billy Tucci's table and think you're Billy Tucci.
That's funny. Hey Billy, how are you? Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
Yeah,
or you go out in front of the table and try and stop people. They don't want to talk to you at all.
No, you got to do it. You got to sell that stuff, man. You just got to. Hey, check this out. But no, I think it's going to be a good show. It'll be fun.
Oh yeah.
And Thursday night's going to be great. Billy will be back.
Great.
Frank will be back in monitoring that chat and moving things along. Behind the scenes, making it happen. And then we got to get the promos and stuff going, because I'll tell you, next week's going to be a good week. Yeah. Next week's a good week too. We're going to have some big names potentially next week.
Yeah. Well, and that's also after C2E2.
Correct.
No.
Correct.
So I mean,
we've got Sora.
Yep.
We've got Sora Sung next week with her Kickstarter. That's all I'll give you. That's all I'm going to give you for a preview. Sora Sung will be next week, and then we maybe do it. It's definitely going to have to be a 3-show week next week.
Ooh, all right.
Yes, it's going to be a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday week. We're trying to stick to Tuesday and Thursday so we don't flood it. But I mean, with all the emails we get, I mean, just today alone, me and you were going back and forth with so many different people, just trying to clarify, certain things and getting them scheduled and booked.
Yeah.
And then the mainstream creators, it's like, oh, hey, how do you know who I am? Hey, I've got this going on, and I can't give names though when it comes to that, because they're in the works.
Hey, I want to be on the show. We're like, okay, hold on.
Yeah, you got to make it happen.
Yeah,
exactly. Got to make it happen. So, man, Frank, great show.
It was
good time.
It was a great
and
time.
Brother,
yeah.
We will do it again Thursday.
Thursday night. We'll see everyone.
And again, thank you, Gary Shipment Art, for coming in.
Hey.
Right before we go, we're going to do 2 crowdfunding call outs tonight. So our first crowdfunding call out is a Kickstarter for The Healing. So I'm going to play the video for you guys. Frank Amazing found this on Kickstarter. Looks like a great book. They have 4 days to go. They have made goal. Yes. They have 81 backers. They're looking for $3,030. They're at $6,261. So let's check out the video and see what we have here.
Imagine a cult is taking over the country. And the mind-numbed automatons who are members of this cult follow an incredibly charismatic leader who wears a mask. They promise to have the solution to all your problems and that they will make you whole. They call themselves The Healing. The Healing is really a comic book project that is our love letter to the superhero genre. We've assembled some of the strongest independent voices and truly legendary comic book artists to tell this amazing story of 5 unusual and unforgettable heroes who must stop the insidious plans of the Healing. Now is your chance to help us tell this fabulous story. You have an opportunity to enjoy a totally new adventure from the very beginning. By sponsoring us on Kickstarter, you get in on the ground floor and can pre-order this book in a variety of collectible formats. We certainly appreciate your support and consideration. Click the link below to join our Kickstarter campaign.
That's very cool.
Very cool.
That's really cool. So guys, check that out. So they've made goal. Definitely looks like an interesting book, interesting story. Art's great. That's cool. Yeah, so head over and check it out. And then second up, we've got a past guest of ours, a 2-time alumni of the crowdfunding comics series, Mr. Gary Shipman and Titan, Mouse of Might #1. So for any of you that haven't seen it, I'm going to play the video for you guys. Where's...
Guess you're watching it again by yourself.
What's that?
The video isn't playing. Are you
No,
watching
this
it
is the
yourself?
video. That's not me moving.
Oh.
That's not me moving.
I like the music though.
Yeah, Gary, your video is confusing, mate. Hang on. So let's...
Wait. There you go.
Star Wars. Oh,
Okay.
Oh, it's 11 minutes.
Gary, this is 11 minutes. I can't play this. Well, it's a fantastic book.
Nile, you did it again.
What?
You didn't look at how long the video was, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, let's just play."
Why not? That's the fun.
No,
That's the
no,
answer.
it is. I love the music though.
The music was great. It
I
was
felt
great.
like I was gonna like go for a jog. I'm like,
Yeah, exactly.
you know.
You just got me nervous that I did something else. I'm like, wait, what did I do?
What-
But hey, check out Titan is cool. So
yeah,
he's a
no,
mighty mouse.
Gary,
Not
Gary
mighty
is
mouse, but
awesome.
Titan mouse of might. Art's fantastic. Gary does some great stuff. But your
Black and
video's
white
too
is
long,
cool.
Gary. We're gonna have to talk about that. We'll
Yeah.
definitely have to talk. We'll sidebar that for another time. We'll basically crucify you next time you're on the show. No, I'm joking. But no, check out Titan. We've had it on the show. Great book, great art. Just wanted to get a quick shout out to Gary and this amazing fun book because he's currently 7 days left. He is at goal. He has 200 backers, $13,183. And he surpassed his goal of $2,020. But let's keep it going for him. And you guys are not going to want to. You guys will not regret this book. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I've had a long day. I keep messing up. I'm tripping over my own tongue here, people. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. So, anyways, thanks again, everyone, so much. We will see you guys Thursday, 9 p.m. with Mitch Halleck and Jerry Ordway. And again, just a big shout out to Mandy Summers, Gary Shipman, Hero and Burr, Writing Comics, Apex Comics, Lee Ditzworth, just so many people that were in the chat. S. Judes, I said Writing Comics, Lee, just so many people. So everyone, thank you so much for participating tonight in the live chat. I hope you check everything out. And again, thank you to Ron Zabala and Debbie Lynn Smith for coming on the show. And Frank Amazing,
have a good
it's
night.
time to sign off, buddy. Have a great night, and we'll see you all on Thursday.
All right.
Hey guys, thanks again for tuning into Crowdfunding Comics. We look forward to hanging out with all of our crowdfunding fans every time we go live. And don't forget to click the link below and subscribe to our channel. And there's a little bell. You may want to hit that too. This way you get all the great notifications when we go live and when we upload some awesome content. You want to follow us? Sure, go right ahead at Twitter at CrowdFundComics with an X, Instagram, Crowdfunding Comics, and Facebook at Crowdfunding Comics. Till next time, crowdfunding fans, we'll see you soon.